Have you ever wondered how can you access your data if your code is not running? Well, in today's video, we will see file handling with Python. In this video, I will show you how you can read, write and manipulate your file using Python code, ensuring safety of your data and accessibility of your data. But that's not all. I will also show you how I used file handling in my personal project and best practices to wield this amazing tool efficiently. If you find this video helpful, hit that like button, subscribe to Data Decides, share your questions and thoughts in comments. I am OMKAR PAWAR, your buddy in data science journey. So let's dive right into it. What is file handling in Python? File handling in Python is nothing but ability to deal with files. That is, doing operations such as reading the file, writing the file or appending your file. But why do we even use file handling in Python? What are the benefits? Let me show you by one example here. Right now what I will do, I will create a variable x and I will assign some value to it. I will assign value as a string, data decides, and what I will try to do, I will try to print its value. Let's see what we get. And even if I write x in this cell and if I try to fetch out the value from the variable, I am getting a value as a data decides, and this is how it should work. But what will happen if I restart my kernel and right now I will try to get the value of my variable? So I am getting name error right now. Why is so? Because I have not run my code previously, so I will get the error. This is the issue with storing values inside a variable. You cannot access them when your code is not running. So this is the issue that we tackle inside of file handling. What happens is that we create a separate file, then we store all the data inside that file, and even if our code is not running, we are still going to be able to access all the information from that file. Since our data is stored in a separate file, it is easy to backup, it is easy to share with others. We can also encrypt our file with a password for extra layer of security, and storing large amount of data inside a separate file is more memory efficient than storing it inside a variable. Reading a file, writing a file and appending a file, these are some common operations that we do with a file. Now let's see all of these operations one by one and let's see how we can handle files in Python. Now let us begin with first common file operation, that is reading the file. What we will do is that here I have created one simple data.txt where I have written some paragraph, random paragraph I have written here. So what we will do, we will try to read this content inside from this file. We will try to read this data inside our Python code. Let's see how we can do that by using file handling in Python. Before starting to read our file, what we have to do is that we have to open our file. I have to enter the name of the file here, data.txt. After that, I have to mention in which mode I want to open. So basically there are four main modes, which is reading mode, writing mode, append mode and exclusive creation mode. So we will start with our reading mode first, and you have to write that inside a string. So remember that. So we have opened our file. So what I will try to do right now, I will try to read the data from my file. Let's see what it gives me. So it is giving me the whole passage as you can see here. And what will happen if I try to do this again? It is not giving me anything. Why is that? Why this is happening with us? So always remember, we have to write whatever we want to do, whatever operations we have to do. First thing we have to do is that open our file. After that, do the operation. And the most important thing is that you should always close your file once your action is done. I have written this close function here. So I will run this code. Now my file is closed. What I will do, I will again hit the run. I will again do the same process. Now you can see what is happening. I will again close. So what exactly is happening here is that if you see in this data, what happen is that when we close our function and open, at that time this blinking cursor comes here. When you run the read method, this cursor moves from the first character till the end all the characters, and it stops there. So that means when you hit the run again, there are no more characters to read from, so it don't gives you anything in return. So is there any other way to move that cursor to the initial position? Yes, there is a one way. That what you can do is that you can use seek method, and inside that you have to write at what position you want your cursor to be. Right now I want my cursor at the initial position, so I will use the seek method. So what I will do, okay, we close the file. So this is the value error. We will get the value error if our file is not open. So let's open our file. After that I will read my data. After first reading, my cursor is now at the end of the information, at the end of the characters. What will happen if I run it again? I am not getting anything as a return. Now what I will do, I will again click on seek. So I will move my cursor at beginning, and after that what I will do, I will again try to read. As you can see, I am able to read all the information again. Now let us see other two important reading methods from file handling. What I will do is that I will again open. Right now I will close this file, first one. Now what I will do, I will do the same thing. I will open the file. I will enter the name of the file. After that I can directly add the what mode I want. What I will do is that right now instead of read, I will use a read line, and let me show what results it gives us. Right now I am using read line, so it is just giving me the first line. As you can see, this is the first line, so it is giving me that as my result. What will happen if I use the read line again? So it is now giving me the second line. If I continue like this, it will give me all the data line by line, all the textual data line by line. And when I'm done with the data, it will not give me anything at all. So this is the use of read line. It is same like generators that we saw. It remembers at what state it is, and it don't execute any further. Right now let us move our cursor at the beginning. So yep, our cursor is at the beginning, and now let me show you one more reading method, that is read lines. And let me show you what happens when we use this method. So read lines gives you all the lines as a string, as the elements of one list. As you can see here, all of my data is inside a list, and it is divided based on line, and each line is a single string here. We have seen all three methods related to reading operation. Now let me summarize what is the difference between read, read lines and read line. So by using the read method, you can read all the data, and not only that, you can also use, if I run this again, let me show you. If I want to read, let's suppose I want to read just first 10 characters, it can also do that. So right now it is reading just only first 10 characters. So this is the use of read method. So what happens when you use the read line? Whenever you use the read line method, what happens is that it returns you all the data, all the textual data line by line, and whenever you are going to run the cell, it will remember the position of the cursor, and it will continue from that line. And what happens with the read lines is, as you can see, it returns all the data, all of the lines inside a list as a string. And let's suppose what will happen right now. Let's say I try to open a file that does not exist. What if I say that data1.txt, and I want to open that file inside a read mode? Let's see what happens. Right now I will get an error because there is no such a file exist inside our current directory. So we will get file not found error. Till now you have noticed that whenever we are going to open a file, we also have to close our file. Is there any other solution to that? Yes, there is one solution to that, and most of the standard practice is that what we do, we use one kind of a syntax that automatically opens a file and also it also closes the file, so we don't have to worry about closing our file. So how you can write that? So to write that, what we do, we use with keyword. With, we open, and we open the data. I will open the data.txt again. Okay, and what I will do, I will mention here in which mode I want to open it and how I want to open it. So first we assign that when we open the file, then we assign it to a variable. So we will do the same thing here. So with open, we will open that file as a f, and we will write whatever we want to do, whatever functions, whatever methods we want to apply. We apply this inside this indentation. So what I will do, I will use read method here, and I will store this inside a result. I need one result. Okay, I will store all the data inside result and then I will print it. Okay, so let's see what is going to happen. Right now what happened is that I read whole data, I stored it inside my result variable, and I then I printed this. So ideally if I use this f.read again, it should give me empty, right? Because my cursor will be at the end of the data, right, at this point. But this is not happening, it is giving me value error. Why is that happening? Because whenever we are going to get out of this indentation, that means we have already closed our file. We cannot perform any other operations on our file. This way we don't have to worry about closing our file. Now let us see how we can write. So at this point what we have done is that we have tried to read the file which did not exist. So what we will do, we will try to create our file. So to create our file, from now on we will use this syntax with open. So this is more convenient for us. So what I will do, I will write with open. I will add the file name here. I will open that file with which mode? I will open that file now with write W mode, that means writing mode, as F. And what I will do inside the F is that I will use the write method, and by using that write method I will write some text like, hi, welcome to data decides. Okay, so I have written this text, and I can also say to the new line, I will, as you know, / and n means new line. Okay, like, share and sub. Okay, like, share and sub. And now I don't have to close my file, as I have told you above. Now let's see what happens. As you can see, we have successfully created our file by using the write mode, and inside that file we also have our data. As you can see, our first line is here, and because we used / n, so that's why we also have new line. We have this like, share, subscribe text in new line. So what happens whenever you use the write mode is that if your file does not exist, as you have seen that data1 file did not existed before, but when we use the write mode, it created the file that did not existed. Now let me show you what will happen. I will choose the same thing, okay, Control C, and I will paste it here. I will change this text as let's see the bright side. Okay, I have changed the text. Now what I will do, I will again open the same file with the new text, and I will try to write new text inside it. Let's see what happens. I have tried to do that. Let's see what happened inside our data1 txt. So, oh my god, what happened? Where is the welcome to data decides and like, share, subscribe? It is not anymore here. What happened? So whenever you use open any file in a write mode, it overrides existing data from your file. That means whatever data you had previously, it will get lost. To deal with such a situation, there is one more way that you can use. That you can first check if that file exists or don't exist, right? If you knew that data one already existed, then you definitely will not open that inside a write mode, right? So what we will do, then we will use exclusive creation mode as a X. And right now let me truncate and create the same file again, like welcome to data decides and like, share, subscribe. And what we will do now, we will use this exclusive creation method. What it does basically, it creates only exclusive files. That means the files which did not existed before. Right now if I try, because see, my data one already exists. Now I will run this. So it is giving me an error that it says this file already exists. Now what I will try to do, I will try to create data2.txt. Now it will not give me any error and it will run successfully because it is used for only exclusive creation. But let's say that you want to add further information inside this file only, right? So is there any choice that you have? Yes, you have another choice, and that choice is nothing but to use append mode. Let's see what happens in append mode. So right now I will open in append mode and I will choose the first file. Okay, now let's see what happens inside append mode. So inside append mode, let's see how our data looks like. As you can see, our data has been updated. I have added the let's see the bright side inside this function again, but I think it should be to the new line, so I can add /n here, /n, and now let's see what happens. As you can see, I have added let's see the bright side to the new line. Before moving further, let's see what will happen if our file don't exist and if we try to append that file. Let's see what will happen. Right now data3 does not exist, and right now I am trying to append that file. Let's see what happens. Okay, I have appended that file successfully even though that file did not existed before. Let's see the bright side. So what happened inside this is, what happens inside append mode is that if your file does not exist, it will create that file. It will write inside that file, and even if I click it few more times, let's see what happens. I have clicked it few more times, right? So let's see what happened with our data3.txt. The number of times I have run that cell, it have added that let's see the bright side line inside my data3, right? It basically don't raise any error. If your file does not exist, it creates the file. If your file exists, then it adds on to the previous information existed in the file. Now let us summarize what is the difference between write, exclusive and append method. So as you have seen, whenever we use the write method, it deleted all the previously existed information. If the file did not existed, it created the file, and if the file existed, it truncated all the data inside the file. And what happened with the exclusive file creation method is that whenever we use this method, what happened is that if that particular file existed before, then it was raising the error that file exists, right? And what happened is that if that file does not exist, then it creates that file from the scratch. So whenever you want to create exclusive files, that one of a kind file, then you have to use exclusive file creation mode. And what happened with the append is that it does not give you any kind of error. If you don't have the file, it creates the file and it adds the information. If you have the file, then it adds on to the previous information. So this is the basic difference between these three methods. Don't get overwhelmed by what you are going to see on the screen. Right now only focus on the blue line, the highlighted line of code that you are looking at. I want to show you how I used this file handling in our real-time project. In this project we are trying to predict heating load and cooling load for residential buildings. So right now only focus on these highlighted line. So as you can see here, I'm using with open, I'm giving the file path similar to file name, and I'm opening that file inside write in a binary mode. There are different variations of the different modes that we have seen. This is a write mode for binary data. So what I'm trying to do is that I'm trying to dump my pickle object. Pickle means my model object inside my file, and as you have seen here, as you can see here, I have dumped my object, pickle object, successfully here. So you can use file handling for various purposes. You can use file handling for logging, loading and unloading your machine learning model. You can use file handling for storing data, sharing your data, making it more secure, and the plus point is it is more memory efficient. As you know, data decides, so do you. Like, share, subscribe and join our data driven community. Thank you for tuning in and stay curious. Data detectives, see you soon with another insightful video.